Carolina finally gets to play somebody in a different jersey tomorrow night. Grab your oxygen masks. Let's head up to Salt Lake City.
This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I want to thank you for making us your first listener watch to get your hump day. No, it's Thursday, to get your Thursday going the right way. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you get $300 to use all across the app. Download it and get started today. Special shout out to all the everydayers who are here with us, you great members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord. And oh man, we've had a big old fat uptick in our Locked On Tar Heels insiders. It's great, and that community is growing stronger than ever ahead of the beginning of the season. Coming up on the show today, it is, as somebody termed last week, a Coach Rob Thursday. I love that we need like a legit name for this thing. I love alliteration, but I don't know how to make that happen, Coach. We need some of you everydayers out there to wordsmith this thing and help us figure out what we can call it. Coach Rob is the head coach of the Milligan University Buffaloes. He's a 2-decade veteran of Carolina summer basketball camp, and man, has all the everything about Carolina camp. In fact, he's written a book that I had in my backpack and my daughter took out, but it's called Carolina Basketball School: History, Stories, and Drills. Pick up your copy today. I had several people ask more about that, getting signed copies. I'm going to say some words about that in the third segment today, so stand by. We're going to do a more typical preview of the Carolina BYU exhibition on tomorrow's show, but today I want to get Coach's thoughts on it. What are we looking to get out of this first public exhibition against another team? That's all sorts of critical stuff there. Then we want to look at ESPN's top 50 newcomers list is out, and only one team in the nation has 3 players on it. You can guess who that is because we're talking about it on the show today. And then in the third segment, I just thought it would be so much fun. Coach Rob starts his regular season tomorrow, Friday. So we're going to get a Milligan primer actually in segment 3. Just a neat opportunity to let him tell us about his team for this year so we can be his biggest cheerleaders and root on the Buffs. So, Coach, tomorrow night, second late Friday in a row for Tar Heels fans who had to stay up till like 4 a.m. to watch the Cal football game last week. Carolina traveling to Salt Lake City to watch Carolina play BYU in the Delta Center, which is where the Jazz play. They've actually already played an exhibition game. They were at Nebraska last week. They lost, but Debanza dropped a 30-piece in that thing. So, Coach, what I want to know from you is we've seen these 2 intra-squad moments already. We've got some data points there. But as Carolina now finally gets to play a team in another jersey, give me 3 things that you're looking for.
Yeah, the first thing I'm looking for is just the competitiveness. Obviously, wins and losses don't matter in an exhibition or a scrimmage, but it does matter a lot to BYU people, and they're going to want to win that thing. And I think from the same, concept, Carolina's got to be very conscious about going into just a bee's nest. They're going to be wound up. The fans are going to be wound up, and how are they going to be able to react playing on the road? And that's a big thing for me. We play a lot of our first games on the road. You want to test those young guys on the road. So I'm really looking to see how that first, even 3-4 minute segment happens with those young kids all being in a really hostile atmosphere on the road, and how they react right away. That would be my first one. Second one, I just want to see who starts. I want to see who, we've talked about that since day one. Who do we project to be the starters, and who's going to be starting, who's not going to start, and those type of things. So that's my second one. The third one for me is it's the Caleb Wilson factor, and just seeing how he relaxes and just plays, and seeing how he can compete. I would imagine he and AJ may match up a little bit along the way and see how that matchup goes. But I am really curious to see if he's such a kid. When you spend time with him and you're around him, he's such a young, he's 18. He's just such a kid. He's fun to be around. He's always joking around and stuff like that. But when he goes across that line, he becomes different. And I really want to see him in that first college real game, see how he reacts. Those are my big 3.
It's like he takes off a mask and it's
Yeah.
a killer under there, dude. It's
Yep.
crazy how
It
much his
is.
disposition changes. I love it. Let's just go back through each of those, Coach. You talked about obviously massive for BYU if they could win, especially I think they're probably like, crap, we game. It's an exhibition. It doesn't matter, but still people put a lot of stock into these things.
Yeah.
But we know, I mean, from exhibition season in other sports, whether it's spring training, whether it's the couple NFL preseason games, they don't matter, right? In fact, some of the best teams often win nothing in the preseason because they're trying stuff to see what they got. That said, what does it mean? Like Carolina went and won at Memphis without RJ Davis in the same spot last year. Seth dropped like 80 million in that game. What does it mean for Carolina to either to win this game? And I'm going to ask the losing side of it in two different ways, Coach. What does it mean to lose and look bad? But what does it mean to lose competitively? Does that make
as a coach, you can spin it however you want to, especially to the media. The media don't, I mean, I hate to say this, media don't matter, and they can spin it in a way where like, well, we were playing a bunch of our young guys and we weren't really trying. It's only an exhibition game. We were just trying to run some different things. But from a coaching perspective, in a locker room perspective, you want to be able to say, hey, we're going out there, we're trying to win this thing, and we've got to be able to play our very best basketball right away. And you're constantly adjusting to through the game. But I don't see a whole lot of the bench guys who are non-rotation guys playing in a game like this. I mean, those were the scrimmages and the blue whites and all that stuff. That's what that was for. But I think they're going to treat this like a game. I think they're going to look at this as game one, even though it doesn't count as game one. But as a coaching staff, I think this is it. This is the test. This is time to sit there and say, can we execute against somebody else? Can we defend somebody else? Can we rebound and play the pace that we want to against somebody else? I think the pace is going to be super fast. Obviously, BYU wants to play fast too, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. But I think you want to make sure you're competitive here. A bad loss here is not going to feel good, regardless of how you spin it to whoever you want to talk to about it.
And I think I love what you said there about treating this as game one, almost like a dress rehearsal or whatever it is, because if you just had a whole slew of bye games right out of the gate of the season, maybe, a little bit less so, but because Kansas is 2 weeks to the day after this, you got to do things to be ready for that. And so I'm right with you. Treat it as game one. And to your point about the environment and how, you talked about the competitiveness in that first 3-4 minute segment, Coach, I looked on, Game Time, one of our great sponsors of the show here. The cheapest ticket on Game Time for this game, Coach, is $103 for an exhibition game. $103. People care about this game and it matters. They want to see AJ. They want to see Caleb. As you said in your third point, I fully expect them to go at each other. AJ projects to me as an NBA 3 or small forward, but based on BYU's smaller lineup, Keita at the 5, I think AJ is going to be their starting 4. And so as we saw often on the AAU circuit or the McDonald's All-American game, things like that, I think we're going to have Caleb and AJ going mano-a-mano throughout this game, Coach, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and I hope Caleb doesn't get caught up into that having to be the matchup. Just let him play. Just play your system. The stats at the end don't really matter. Let's just, obviously it's hard because they're competitive and there's an ego there, and that's why he's great. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing, but you don't want to get caught up in something like that, take bad shots, and then make things worse.
Here's the other thing, Coach, with that, like in that same vein. I mentioned it. AJ Debanza scored 30 points in that game at Nebraska. On Tuesday night, Cam Boozer from Duke scored 33 in their win over, was it UCF? I think, yes, they played an exhibition over UCF. If Caleb doesn't score 30, people are going to lose their minds because it's like, oh, crap. Caleb's got to do what these guys are doing. How do you get both Caleb and Carolina fans out of that mindset?
Yeah, it's a system. It's a team game. It's not about, if he wanted to go out and score 35, I guarantee he could go out and score 35. They may not win. They could lose by 20 because it's not about what the individual, stats come. It's a team thing. Now, he's going to get his just because he's going to be a big part of what that system is. But again, you can't get caught up in numbers right away. I'm not even looking at numbers for him long term. I mean, are they winning games? Are they playing well as a team? Is he being part of what they're doing right now? there's a lot of guys who score a lot more points in high school than he did that don't get Division I scholarships.
That's right.
I'm one of them. So it's not about how many points you put together and put on it's about how does he look, how does he play, does he mesh with the team. I'm more worried about his rebounds.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. I want to see him rebound, and I would like to be able to see him make great decisions. Great decisions don't always add up to 30 points, but great decisions add up to wins.
And you know what? AJ Dybantsa's 30 points did not add up to a win. So that, to your very good point there, Coach. The other thing is I want to go back to your second point, who starts. I want to hone in on Luka Bogavac, because as we record right now, there is still not NCAA clearance, at least publicly, that we know of. I know after you and I are recording about 2:30 Eastern time on Wednesday afternoon. I know Coach Davis is meeting with the media today. I expect Coach will be asked directly about this, so there might be more information that comes out after we record this. But also, Luka looked a little banged up Saturday at Cherokee. So, Coach, assuming Luka is healthy, but assuming that we don't have any clarity on his clearance, and assuming Carolina is allowed to play him, would you start him, or would you say, hey, we're like a week and a half away and we don't know, so we'd rather have Jonathan Powell or Jarin Stevenson starting because we know that's what's going to happen out of the gate? What would you do?
Yeah, I don't see him starting right now. And I think they've done so much practice work without him in there that it's hard just to throw him in there game one or even scrimmage one or exhibition one, however they see it. To me personally, I see Jonathan Powell being a starter. I see him at starter at the 3 with the lineup that we've talked about before with Seth and Cayenne and Henri and Caleb. Yeah, that's the way I see it. That's the way I've seen it all along. With we anticipate Luka would be part of that. I don't think he's ready. I don't think that the NCAA decisions help that at all. And I think it's just a wise thing just to be able to. He'd be a great guy coming off the bench to start the year and then prove himself. And if he earns that spot, by all means, get him in there. But I think right now that's the way to go.
Last question on the BYU stuff, and again, we'll treat it more fully tomorrow. Coach, how big a deal is playing at Elevation? Elevation in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 486 feet. Elevation in Salt Lake City, Utah, 4,286 feet. How much does that matter?
Yeah, never thought it was a big deal till I was in college, and we went to we had an athletes in action trip. Went to the Philippines, and we did our training in Colorado Springs. And we had a meeting at the headquarters, and then they said, just run down to the high school is just about a mile down the road. We'll just meet you guys down there. So we all got outside and ran and sprinted down there. And I've never been so tired in my life. The altitude hit me in a way that I had never expected. I mean, I was born next to the ocean. I was born literally at sea level. So I had never experienced anything quite like that. It's definitely real. And it's something that I think the guys will have to get used to. I do expect them maybe go to the bench a little bit earlier than they normally would, maybe some oxygen on the sidelines. I don't know. But no, it's definitely very real. And there's a reason why the Olympic teams train at that level to be able to prepare themselves for other events. But I think it's something that they're definitely going to have to think about and take into consideration because it's unlike anything they'll play probably the rest of the year.
Earlier this week, Coach, ESPN released a top 50 newcomers article between freshmen, transfers, and international players. And there is one school on this list that has 3 players on it. Your North Carolina Tar Heels. Does it matter? Is it a big deal? We'll talk about that in just a second. Right after I tell you about Quo, one of the tools that helps make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly OpenPhone. It's the same great business phone system that you've heard me talk about before, just with a brand new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed phone call is money that you or your business are leaving on the table. And when every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. And Quo is the number one business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying around 2 phones or relying on a landline. They've got a built-in AI agent that's a game changer. It can answer after-hours calls, it can capture leads, and can keep your business flowing, even when you're off the clock. So come on, see why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, again, formerly OpenPhone. Get started for free and 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/locked. And that's QUO.com/LockedOnCollege. You can even keep your existing number for free. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. This episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the FanDuel app. And when you use FanDuel, whether it's parlays, player props, getting in on the action live as it unfolds, it makes watching football even more exciting because you got a little something extra riding on the action. So whether you're a casual fan, maybe you nerd out like me and dive deep into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. ACC regular season odds, Duke leads the way, followed by Louisville, and then Carolina third, followed by NC State. You want to get in on that action or anything else? What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the app and get started today. Earlier this week, ESPN's Jeff Borzello and Paul Biancardi put out a top 50 newcomers article. Coach, it just detailed their ranking of the top 50 freshmen, transfers, and international players coming to college basketball for the first time. As you would expect, multiple teams have multiple players. Arizona has 2, BYU, Duke, Florida, Kansas State, Kentucky, Louisville, NC State, St. John's, Tennessee, UConn, USC, and Washington. A whole other list has 1 player on this list, but Coach, there is 1 school in all of Division I that has 3 players on this list, and that's the North Carolina Tar Heels with Caleb Wilson at 19, Henri Veesaar at 26, and Luka Bogavac at 47. Coach, what does this tell you about the way at least these 2 people from ESPN think about the talent that Carolina has at their disposal?
No, I think it's a great sign to show how talented this team really is. And I'm surprised Caleb Wilson's as low as he is, to be honest with you, because I just think he's that special. But at least now you're getting some recognition. I know there's people who say, well, we missed on so many different players. This team's talented. This team has been constructed in a very well manner. There's depth at every position, and not just depth at every position, but high level depth at every position. And I think that's what you're looking at. You're not looking at a roster of 15 guys that all need to play. You need 10 guys, you need 8 guys, 9 guys, however many Hubert wants to use. But I do think the depth's good. I think they're at least 2 deep at every position, and super excited to see how that depth is used. Hopefully different than maybe it has been in the last couple of years.
You mentioned it, Coach. I'm with you. I thought Caleb would maybe be a little bit higher on this list. I counted as you had said it. He's the 8th highest ranked freshman of this list. The rest above him are transfers like the transfers that are in there above him. I won't read all of them, but like Yaxel Lendabor going from UAB to Michigan, Donovan Dent from New Mexico to UCLA, Darion Williams from Texas Tech to NC State, etc. But Coach, Carolina does have these 3 players, but none are like in that elite tier. They're all 19 or lower. Do you feel like Carolina has the top end talent necessary to be like Final Four level competitor? Because it's nice to be a good team, but to those heights, it feels like you got to have absolute dudes. Do they have that?
Yeah. It's hard to say right now. I can't say yes, definitely. And I know we're a Carolina podcast and everybody talks about how we're homers and only want to say good things. And yeah, we do say a lot of good things. This is a really good team. This is a very talented team. It depends on how it develops chemistry wise, how offensively, defensively, their concepts, they grow together. That's what the coaching is about. That's what the development is about. And I think it's early to say.
Yeah.
Right now, if you would say this is a Final Four team, I think it would be surprising to me. I do think it's a Sweet 16 team, which ranked 25th preseason means nothing to me. And even this thing with the 50, it doesn't really mean a whole lot
Exactly.
to Carolina.
Exactly.
It's somebody else's opinion. I saw something the other day. I forget what it was, but it was, somebody put out their top 50 or something and it was just the worst list I've ever seen. I'm like, these people just, you could just pick them out of a hat and be as, I don't know who lets these people write these articles, but, I don't necessarily think that this is a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. But when it comes right down to it, it's how those guys mesh together and who can stay healthy. And that's a big thing that we've had, obviously, my situation lately. But if they can stay healthy, they can grow and get better together and they can accept each other's roles. I think this is definitely a team that could go deep into March and hopefully into April.
Yeah, Coach, I saw a list earlier this week. I'm not going to name who it is. I remember it because I was shocked at how bad it was. It was this person's top 10 wings, small forwards in college basketball. Like 8 of them play not the 3. I was like, what
Yeah,
are we
exactly.
doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, you mentioned the chemistry side of it. So it's great to have all this new talent, but also it's new. So yes, it's great to have that many players on this list, but in terms of learning that chemistry, I feel like that's something we've talked about ad nauseum this offseason, Coach, you and I, especially with Luka coming in late, with the unknown we just talked about in the last segment of Luka's eligibility. What does it mean in terms of, yes, they're talented, but we got to get them together? And I would ask, as a tag on to that, what is Seth Trimble's role as the elder statesman in making that happen?
Yeah, we can talk about the beach trip and we talk about all these different things we do off the court. The real chemistry starts when games begin and people don't get the minutes that they expect. So now all of a sudden, you've been a great teammate and you've been very encouraging because there's always 10 guys in practice playing at the same time. Now they go to 5 guys playing against their 5 guys. So this is when, like you said, the Seth Trimbles of the world are very, very important, or that assistant coach, that Marcus Page, that Pat Sullivan, where they can step in and say, hey man, listen, you're a freshman. I know you're not getting the amount of time that you expected to get, but you've got to stay true to what's happening. The process, that word has been ruined by the Sixers, but you've got to trust what the coaches are here, what the process is, and how we're going through this to make sure that you stay ready, because that time's coming, whether it's foul trouble or eligibility or injuries or whatever. Somebody's got to be ready to step up right away. And that's when those captains, those assistant coaches really become more important, to be able to say, hey, I know you want to play more. Who are you going to pass? You got this guy in front of you. Have you passed him? Do you feel like you're better than he is? Those are the type of conversations that sometimes only a really, great teammate or an assistant coach can have with you.
Man, and that's so tough to process, because like the handling of all that and how it all starts to come together. So those are always things to watch. Is the chemistry is great now, but when the rubber hits the road, does it stay that way? Coach, I would be remiss not to also mention that this list had some sleepers at the end of it. Basically, you could think of it as honorable mention of guys who didn't make this top 50. 16 different players, 16 different schools represented on it. And there was another Tar Heel there as well. So it continues to give Carolina an embarrassment of riches. And Coach, that player is Derek Dixon. And man, what a come up he's had through this offseason of just the words leaking out and people are starting to believe in him. And the fact that he would be added to this list, I think says something massive. Again, just even more about him individually, but all the depth and potential that Carolina has.
I love him. I know we've talked about this a lot, but from the day I saw him play that first, day at camp to this time I saw him play in practice, he had improved so much. And to me, the biggest thing was how comfortable he seemed. That first week, you're nervous. You're just on campus. You just started classes. You're just getting to know everybody, and it was all brand new. But man, when that practice, it looked like if somebody had said, "Hey, that kid's a junior," I would have said, "Yeah, he looks like it." Because he looks relaxed. He wasn't struggling with any of the drills. He knew exactly what was going on. He knew where the ball was supposed to go. He knew how to rotate on defense. Everything was so much more polished than I expected. And that's why I'm super excited about him. I'm not saying he's going to start, but if he had to, I think they'd be okay. I really do. I don't think that it would be a drop off, maybe a little bit with Kyan Evans, just because experience alone. But he's really close, and I think that he's going to. To me, he's the first. I mean, he could be the first guard off the bench very easily.
That changes. We've talked about it, but I'll just say it again. That changes the ceiling and potential for what this team is and could be. Now, guys, I said it earlier, exciting times for Coach Rob. Not only is Carolina playing their first exhibition against another team tomorrow, Milligan has their first regular season game tomorrow, playing again on Saturday. We got to ask Coach Rob for a preview, a primer for his team. Coach, a little self-scout here. Excited to hear about how the Buffs are going to look coming off of one of the greatest seasons in recent history for Milligan. All that coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about Mazda, who crafts cars for those who do more than simply move, Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else as of August 2025. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings that same level of intentionality to how they craft every model. You can feel that incredible Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents all the way to the available Nappa leather upholstery. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Because with Mazda, everyday drives, man, they feel like anything but, from smooth handling all the way to intuitive controls and everything in between. And like the Tar Heel athletes, Mazda, man, they sweat every single detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Coach, it truly is such a fun honor to get to chat every week, and love getting to talk about the Tar Heels. But it's so fun because you coach my alma mater. You were not the head coach when I was there. But man, it's just been so neat to get to develop and grow our relationship, mostly digitally, through these last couple years. And so I would love it if you would just give us a primer for the Milligan Buffaloes season, what you got going this weekend, and your outlook for the team this year.
Yeah, this is my 17th year here at Milligan, start of 17 years, and my 32nd year as a head coach. So I know I look old, but I'm not that old. But 35 years all at the college level, and it's been as challenging, I think, a preseason as I've been through. We we lose all five starters from last year's team that won the conference tournament. Of course, Tomba's off playing with St. John's and Patino, and then we lost another player to a D2 with the portal come in and stole our best player, 1,000-point scorer. So it's back to the drawing board. It's really it's a great group. I love this group. We brought in 5 international kids. They're from 5 different countries, but they all speak Serbian, which is fun because then they can all communicate with each other. Even though,
Interesting.
yeah, we got one from Moldova, one from Serbia, one from Croatia, one from Macedonia. And I'm missing somebody, but I'll figure that out later. But there's five different countries, which makes it really cool. One from Bosnia, I think, was the one I missed. But Elijah Breadwood's our point guard. He's the only one who really got major time, even off the bench last year. A point guard from Knoxville, super athletic. He's 6 foot, but weighs about 140 pounds. But he can get his elbows above the rim. He's super. I mean, he flies around the gym and very crafty. Shifty is the best word for him. We got one local kid, Grant Hensley, who's just down the road here at Unicoi. His 2 brothers both played for me. Now he's the 3rd Hensley brother. He's been playing great. And then Tajon McDaniel. His name is Tajon McDaniel McCormick. So imagine putting McDaniel McCormick on the back of a jersey.
Is that all?
Yeah.
His jersey?
Yeah, we don't put names on a jersey, but if we did, that's what it would look like. But he's a JUCO kid, and he'll probably start at 3 for us. And Liv Anton, he's a kid from Moldova, will start at the 4 for us. And then Zivko Damjanovic, and Ziv is from Bosnia, and he'll start at the 5 for us. So it's a group that's never really played together. So it's a lot of learning. It's a lot of patience. We're going through the pyramid of success right now. John Wooden's pyramid of success. Today's word is patience. So I've got to be able to listen to my own words and try to be as patient with this group as I can. But Amari Hicks and Jake Benham, 2 kids from the Charlotte area. Amari could very well play 30 minutes a game as a freshman. Jake's brother played at High Point. He's the one that had that mean mug look for High Point last year. That was one.
Yeah.
That's his older brother. And those 2 are freshmen, and they both defend and shoot it really well. So we're really, I mean, it's wide open when you talk about coming to practice every day and having to earn your role. It can very well change from day to day, from week to week, depending on how these guys continue to grow. But the one thing that I did, and it may look like a mistake now, but when we had a great year, we went and loaded up the schedule. That way, we think, hey, we're going to go out and play a really tough schedule with this great squad that we have. And then we lost some guys along the way. Lincoln Tommy, who was kind of our heart and soul, just got his 6th concussion, which was a season, not just a season ending, but a career ending injury for him. He wants to be a PA, and you can't be a PA if you can't think, if your brain's constantly in a fog. So he had to shut it down, and that was a really big loss for us. So but we're okay. You have to keep moving, and we're still going to play. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us, and we've got to just be able to go and play. But the first 2 games are against 2 teams that one's a top 25 team in Life University down in Georgia, and then Georgia Gwinnett just added a program, and they've loaded up to the point where they actually got votes for national ranking before they've even played 1 game. So that'll show you how much respect that they have. But so we'll be down outside Atlanta, 24th, 25th this coming weekend. Anybody who doesn't have anything, really nothing on their schedule and want to come see us play, we'll be at Life University on Friday and Georgia Gwinnett on Saturday night. So tough way to start the year, but we're excited about it.
And then Life, if I remember from the schedule, Life turns around and comes right back up to Steve Lacy Fieldhouse pretty soon, right?
Yeah, they come back. I think it's on the 12th. We actually play I guess it's our fourth game. We play at MTSU, Middle Tennessee State. A little guarantee game for us out there in Murfreesboro at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. in the morning. We play that elementary school where all the local elementary schools bring in their kids, and every time out they put on whatever the popular song is at the time, and the kids sing it and dance. It sounds like you're at a concert. It's pretty awesome experience. But and then we got Life. Life will be our first home game, so we'll get them kind of out of our schedule early on, get rid of them. But they were a Sweet 16 team last year. We played them in a tournament at Thanksgiving last year and got beat, I think, 14 or 15. So Kevin Easley is the coach there. Used to be an assistant at UNC Asheville, so it's a guy who's got Division I ties. So we're looking forward to it. We're a couple days away, just being able to prepare and put all the last little things in you have to get ready for situationally, put those last second plays in, and those little buzzer beater type things. But the guys are anxious to play against somebody other than ourselves.
Man, I'm so excited for you, Coach. As you said, I know tough schedule ahead, but man, get the guys in and going. Excited to see how it goes, and always cheering on my alma mater. And I know there's a whole bunch of people in the Locked On Tar Heels community always cheering for the Buffs, and I know we'll be talking about it in the Discord because people always want to know, and that'll be a bunch of fun. Coach, I also want to ask, I noticed last week there was a whole bunch of really kind comments of people just loving Coach Rob Thursdays, which is such a special and sweet thing, and I'm so grateful for people just recognizing just everything that you bring to the show. But I also noticed somebody was asking, Coach, I'd love to get a signed copy of Carolina Basketball School. What's the best way for someone to do that?
Yeah, the best way is just to email me, and my email is wdrobinson@milligan.edu. Jim Hill was one of the guys who hit me up, and we ended up connecting, had a conversation. His middle name, and I'm not trying to make this up, he's the third, Jim Hill the third, but his middle name is Chappelle, but they spell it Chapel, which is Chapel Hill. So his name is Jim Chapel Hill. His dad was at Carolina in the 50s when Coach Smith took over, and we had a really cool conversation. I think we talked for 20 minutes on the phone.
That's so
just
fun.
had a great time. He had a couple Coach Smith stories, and we ended up having a really good conversation. So would love to catch up with people, but wdrobinson@milligan.edu is my email address. Feel free to hit me up. I tell my kids at Carolina camp all the time, I said, I'll give you my email address. I'll always respond to you. If I give you my number, text me. I won't answer the phone. I hate talking on the phone. I think that's part of my mom growing up on a farm as a kid. They never used the phone. I hate talking on the phone, but I love to be able to connect with anybody, and especially somebody who wants to talk about Tar Heel basketball. It's always fun to get connected and be able to do that. But the book signing is going to be November 7th in Chapel Hill. I know we got a couple weeks to think about that, but I just think it's a really cool thing. It's been a lot of fun to be able to just talk about Carolina basketball, put it in a book, and then kind of forget about it and not have to worry about it anymore. I'm glad I don't have to. It's not on my plate anymore, but I love to talk about Carolina basketball.
Man, shouts to Jim Chapel Hill. That's such a great name. I love it. What are the chances? That's so cool. Yes, that's coming up very soon. The day of the Kansas game. If you want to go meet Coach, get a book signed, that's another great way to be able to do it right there at Alumni Hall. And a good chance for you there. And the holidays are coming up. It's a great opportunity to pick up Carolina Basketball School for a Christmas present for someone in your life. Big thanks, as always, to Coach for joining us on the show today. Just super fun conversations, great insights as always. As I said, tomorrow we'll have our primer for the BYU game, for the Virginia football game, and everything else going on in Carolina athletics this weekend. If you've not subscribed to the show, do it now so you don't miss a second of Locked On Tar Heels. If you're not in the Discord, that link's in the show notes. We'd love to have you in there. And if you want to go deeper with the show, Locked On Tar Heels Insiders, it's a great way to help support the show as well. That link's also in the show notes. It's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll talk again tomorrow, but until then, peace.